Good afternoon. It is, let's see, November 30th, 2021, and today we're just looking at two measured legs down. As you can see, we got this big leg down in the overnight, and we had this corrective channel right here. After the open, we trended up a little more and just sold off. And for a while, we were really in a pretty large range, I would say. Just trying to hit that measured move. You can see we came up short right here and right here, and they probably just trapped a bunch of people going long, and then came down right before the close and hit that measured move. So let's take a look at these trades. Not a lot of easy ones to spot, even though we have I have a bunch of red ones marked red over here. Some of them were more difficult to spot. Let's take a look. I thought I had something marked a little earlier, like right at 5 o'clock, I thought. You can see we make this range in the overnight, break lower. This is probably close to a measured move before we start trending up. This looks like a second entry short, but we're trending up, so I don't think you would want to do that. But it is an overshoot as well of this channel, so you might consider that. But that's actually before 5 o'clock anyway. We come down here, we bounce, you get a first entry, second entry. So if you don't take this second entry, well, the signal bar is no good, so you're not going to take that. Once you see this trap, you might go short there. I hope that wasn't a spot where I got trapped, because that's a really good, that's a really nice setup for a failure. I would say this is aggressive because we haven't made a move to a new high. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm pretty sure I got trapped going short here. Like right here on the MES, and it just didn't set up well. But anyway, yeah, when you have a break of this channel, this is like, yeah, from 1 o'clock till like 5, we're trending up. So that's a long-term trend. It doesn't look big on this chart, but that was a very long time. So we should expect to move to a new high, and that's what we got right here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're really getting any setup. Comes up here, makes a new high though, and you get a first entry, second entry. It's a bit congestive up here, but with this nice leg up, it would also be towards the bottom of congestion of the range. So I like that entry. Here you get a first entry, second entry. That doesn't set up too well on this chart though. Here, let me zoom in. This is just so much volume and price action today. So hopefully I can get through this kind of quickly. So we're in this pretty long-term upward channel. It's a big channel too. We get this downtrend, and you get a first entry, failed second entry right here, but unfortunately it doesn't set up well. We're above the EMA, and we did get 2 legs up to a new high, so you might consider going short here, but you keep making higher lows and higher highs, you probably don't want to do that. But that does fail, and you might go long on this on a triple test, because we were making all these new highs, and that's bouncing off this level of now what is support. That's a triple test. Tries to go lower once, twice, 3 times. You might consider that. Let me mark that. Plenty of room back to the EMA as well. But now we're just chopping around. So this is just probably just like a measured move of this range, is what I'm guessing. And so you probably want to stay out of this stuff. Get a second entry short here, but I'm not I don't think I'm trying to go short just yet. Let's see, first entry, second entry, third. Yeah, and unfortunately, you got to bounce off the trend line right here, and that's actually a second entry long. So if you got a good signal bar right there, you can see how neutral my signal bar is, but if you got a good one right there, you could go long and you can ride this thing all the way up. And that being the case, you might consider this one. The problem is this morning prices were moving so fast, it's really hard to see all this, and especially if you're like me and I've only been doing this for like 15-16 months. I'm sure Mac can do this. People with years of experience can do this in real time, but for me it was really hard. First entry, second entry right here. Obviously that's tough. That's a huge signal bar, 25 ticks, but let me just mark that as aggressive because that's second entry long. You're just going into the highs is the problem, and we're not really sure that that's the trend channel yet. You get a higher low right here if you want to enter on that. Come up here, we make a double top. And look right here, this is why you don't want to go second entry long on a poor signal bar. These people get trapped. We come down here. I was thinking first entry failed second entry long, but they trapped all those people like me who were thinking that. And, well, you can see we have this channel up and a break and a move to a new high. So maybe that's why you don't want to think that way. And look, we have one leg down of correction. So wait for that second leg. You can see we get that second leg right here. And we come back to the trend channel and you get a first failed second entry short. Unfortunately, it closes beneath the EMA. So that's an aggressive move right there. But it's off this channel that's been holding all morning, and you get a big move out of that. And then this is all too far from the EMA. This, I just looked at this. It tested yesterday's opening price right here. It might have come up short actually, but I think that's what prices were trying to do. Yeah, came up a little short, probably a few points short. But it's also like a triple test of this price level, or a double test. You can see that. So you might, nah, you probably don't want to go short. We're still making higher lows and higher highs. So we start moving down, we break that channel, that longer term channel. Really, we got to break down here. So we got to break and move to a new high. But I'm sure some people, well, no, that's the first break. So anyway, sorry for rambling. Anyway, we make this new high, and you get a first entry, failed second entry long. That's clearly a channel. So why did I mark that as aggressive? Probably just because we've been trending up for so long, and you might expect another move to a new high. But we got some price action beneath the EMA for a while now. That's probably another thing, is that it looks like we could be going short into a range, into the lows of a range. You see we bounced here, so you might be thinking about that. But if you draw your trend line quickly, this does look like it's off the trend line. So that's a really good trade if you can spot it. You get a lower high right here, but that's too far from the EMA. And unfortunately, we're not getting much here. First entry, second entry, far from the EMA, not a great signal bar. This is way too far from the EMA. You get a first entry, second entry right here, and that would have worked. So I guess I should mark this as aggressive, but once that congestion forms, I'd probably back out. Get a lower high right here. That's too far from the EMA. You can see we got like this main downward channel, but then this channel formed, and we formed the overshoot of this channel. Maybe I should make this yellow. So yeah, we get overshoot and we move to a new low. Overshoot leads to a break, as you can see. But yeah, this stuff is just so it even looks like there's a channel here. Like that maybe, or even like that. Yeah, probably like this. Yeah, that midline looks pretty accurate. Just a lot of dense price action, a lot of layers to this thing. Still haven't come and hit that measured move at this point, but you can see it looks like we make a double bottom here, and this is probably just trapping a bunch of longs. First entry, failed second entry, long, but I'm not going long at this point. Too early, I think. We get this bounce off the trend channel, but that was hard to find that trend channel. A failure happens right here, but this is definitely way too aggressive on a sell-off day like today. First, failed second entry. That's too aggressive at that point. First, failed second entry long right here. I do like that, and let's see if that's, you probably would have had your channel drawn like that at that point. So really, that's off the trend channel you'd be playing at that point. So I really like that, but unfortunately you only get a scalp out of that. And then it pulls back with no, you wouldn't have had this trend channel drawn at this point. So that's why I didn't mark this one. This is a second entry short. Even if this was even on this signal bar, you might take that if it's off the trend line on a day like today, but not in this context. We don't know the trend channels should be drawn like that at this point. So we move down, make a new low, first entry, second entry short, off the trend channel, big bearish bar. I'm taking that. Even though it's going into the lows, I'm taking that. This is a failed second entry long, but that's down into the lows of the channel. Looks like it probably worked, but there's just not, I don't see a lot of good setups in here. I think that's a failure too. Yeah, but just going into the lows. But we come back here, first, second entry short. This is, I put a square here because I think I'd be scared to take this. Because look, that looks like a channel up. We had a slight overshoot. And it just looks risky. It looks like it could be a trap, and what it is it's a trap to the long side. So all these longs got trapped, and it's a second entry short. Here we get a first failed second entry long. I like the way this sets up. Room to the lows, off the trend channel, but then make that new low and we reverse, and it was real choppy, and I had trouble viewing it that way in real time because with the big sell-off I just wanted to look at it like it was a down day, which it was, but there were a lot of trends up. Failure comes here, but I'm still not going long. This isn't a good enough setup. If it sets up well, sure, but it doesn't. I don't think there's anything in here. You get a first entry, second entry long, but we had a break of this channel. So again, it's just not a good setup. This is a first entry, second entry. It closes beneath the EMA. We already have a new high in place. Room to the lows. I like that. And really, this is probably a range, and so there's room to the lows of the range. And then you get, I like this because it's off the trend line. It's like a lower high. It kind of, it looks like a failed second entry long, but the first entry is right here. First failed second entry. So I think that's what that's why I marked this. This is the failure right here. I'm not crazy about how this sets up. It's above the EMA. It looks like we're in a range, but then once you have this trend channel drawn, it's a lower high, and it's a better signal bar for that failure. I like that, and that gets you a nice couple of points. We get a first entry, second entry right here, off the EMA, clearly in a downward channel. I like that. Not off the trend line, but it looks pretty good, and we got to bounce off the EMA right here. So, and then this channel fails, and that was hard. It's hard, man, because we think we're trying to hit this target, and it just keeps bouncing. And you can see this bounce is higher than this bounce. So you might think, okay, well, we might reverse and go back up to the like overnight lows or overnight highs or something. But yeah, it doesn't happen. So when we make this new low or higher low right here, and we get a great setup for a failed second entry short, that's like the first and only setup to go long I liked in the middle of all this selling off. I think that sets up perfectly. Huge bullish bar off the trend channel. You could have had that trend channel at that point, so I like that. And you could have gotten, because you might hold on to this thinking like that at least we're going to these highs up here, but I don't know, you might think we're going higher. You might think we're going back to test the open. I don't think we did that. Yeah, we did not do that, but you could hold on to this thing. So I like that setup. I don't see anything in here. Come up here, first entry, second entry, and again, we had a break of this channel, and the bias is down clearly, but that's just such a good setup, and we haven't really had many good setups. So I like how bullish that is. I probably wouldn't take it because of the break of the channel, but it's according to the rules, and it sets up well. And then we just have this congestion. I don't think you want to go short right here. Yeah, it's not like it's a price level that you would recognize as a good place to go short, but it is a second entry short, and that's extremely bearish, so you might consider that. It's just hard to know that this was the range highs and lows at this point. I think we're not sure if we're going higher too, but that is 2 legs up to a new high too. And here we just get a higher low back into congestion, so that was good enough for a scalp. But it looks congestive, like micro congestion here. Then we make this strong leg down. Unfortunately, I don't see a way to enter that. More congestion here. Then we start trending down right here, and you get a first entry, second entry short that doubles as a first entry, failed second entry long. Great setup, room to the lows, off the trend channel. I like that. I don't see anything else in here though, unfortunately. Just tough. Then we have this range, and this is super choppy. Like, I don't think you would have enough context to go long here into that top of that channel, but it is a higher low. And then here, it's like a first, second, third, fourth test of that price level. So with how bullish that is, I like that. Then it fails, or it goes out the top and it fails. And look at that, that's counter trend break. It fails immediately. So yes, you might, especially this is low risk, but this is right before the close, so it might be a little aggressive, but I like how low risk that is on a day like today. And that gets you a nice move. And that brings us into the closing time. And look at that, right 5 minutes before the close, we hit that target, that measured move. And this stuff has been way too crazy. Look at that. That's like, let's start right here. So that's what, 42 bars in 5 minutes. So 48 bars in 7 minutes, just about. A lot of craziness. So yeah, that's what I saw today. And we'll move over to the MES to take a look at my trades. Okay, well, let me move this. There we go. So I definitely overtraded today. I'm going to try and go through this quick because it was a lot of stupid trades. I mean, you know, you gotta. I think what I need to learn from today. Oh God, look at all these trend channels and stuff. I think what I need to take away from today is that just because there's volatility does not mean that there are great setups. Here I took it was a failure, first failed second entry short, but I think it's not off a trend line. It is off the EMA, but it's not off a trend line, and I only got out because I entered on the engulfing bar. If I entered on this, oh wait, I wouldn't have gotten triggered if I entered one tick above this. So just it was risky, and I knew that ahead of time, so I only entered on one contract, which I like. We get this overshoot here, and I was looking at this as a range, and it doesn't really look too rangy, probably because of this. And so I'm thinking that's just a bad read. I was thinking first entry, second entry short right here, and first entry failed, second entry long, but that was just a bad read. I'm seeing now, because we were trending up for like 5 hours. So I should expect a break to a new high. And here, you get like a double test and a great opportunity to go long, which I wanted to take, but I had to walk away from the computer, unfortunately, and that would have gotten you a nice runner. So yeah. And I took this second entry long, and so at this point I'm down like $68. Take this second entry long. Looks a little congestive, but after the fact, it looks like we're at close to the bottom of this range, and we had a counter trend breakout. So I do like this entry in hindsight, and it gets me all the way up to like plus $13 on the runner. So I should have walked away at this point, but I did not. I went long here on another second entry long, and this would be a good trade. This would be a scalp, but I got greedy and wanted to go for a runner again, and on all my contracts, and quickly got stopped out, but it would have gotten a scalp. So then I'm down in the hole again, and I really should have walked away there because that's 2 losses. But I go long here thinking we got a failure, but again, oh wait, no, we did make a new high here. So I think really this trend channel I have drawn is probably inaccurate. It's probably just this. Yeah, and we get a break of that and a move to a new high already. So I was thinking we needed to make a new high, but we already made a new high. I also didn't have this larger trend channel drawn, and that would help me because we're near the highs of that channel. We're coming off the highs of that channel. But really, we made these new highs, so we made this leg down. You should be looking for a new low. So I got trapped there. I got tricked. Nothing else to it. Went long here on a failure, but there's a huge sell-off, so that's risky. It worked out just for a scalp. And really, this is just congestive at this point, but I took a failure in congestion. First entry, failed second entry long right here. Look at all that overlap. Not a good place to take a failure. And pretty sure there was one more, maybe not. Okay, luckily I walked away at that point. Okay, so that's what I got for today. We'll take a look at the ES again. Hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.